All right, welcome back, guys. This is take two. The camera tripod was not cooperating. It kept sliding down. The tension screw just isn't working. So we're gonna try and do this one again here. But take two. I wanted to do a size comparison video because I'm in the middle of this late Roman project with Triarius, and I'm trying to figure out what manufacturers work well with what. And I just realized that I had a decent sampling, not a comprehensive sampling. If there's a comprehensive sampling, I'd probably have a couple more manufacturers in here to compare against. But as I'm trying to figure out what works with what, and me and Triarius have been bouncing off each other left and right of, okay, this will do well with this manufacturer. You can mix and match with these ones and blah, blah, blah. But this is what I have on hand. I don't have a Crusader. I don't have an A&A. And that's about all I'm missing. The rest is a really good sampling. So starting from your all's left and moving right, we got a Footsore late Roman, an Aventine successor, Foundry World of Greeks Thracian, a Footsore Mortal Gods range. This is going to be very germane to the subject here in a little bit. A Polemarch, Lycian successor guy, and then a Newline Designs Thracian. So I try to pick guys that were all standing upright. So we'll go through and see which ones match with what. Alrighty, so we got the late Roman from Footsore. I'm going to say I'm very impressed with these figures. Very impressed. When I got them, I had never ordered from their medieval and dark age line before. Triarius had, and he said they were very good. So I took his word. I ordered. I really like the miniatures. There's cleanup on them, but the sculpts are really solid. And this is obviously an armored guy. When I got him, I was like, this doesn't look like the Footsore I have already. So I have already ordered. I probably have a few dozen of the Mortal God range figures, and that's what I was expecting, and that's not what I received. And then in addition to the Mortal Gods guys, I actually have 200 of the Etruscans from the Agema Kickstarter that were sculpted and produced by Footsore, and that's kind of what I was expecting originally. But these are not that. These actually, I think, match perfectly. And this is my Aventine successor. I think they match perfectly with these guys. I would interchange these guys in units. 100% height's good, proportions are good. You're just good all the way around. So if you got Aventine guys and you want to mix them with the Footsore, not Mortal Gods, but their normal ranges, then I think you're fine. The next one we got is a World of Greeks guy. I also think that he mixes fine. Now, the World of Greeks guy from Foundry doesn't have a helmet on. You can see there, you add a helmet. He's slightly chunkier. But the Aventine is also slightly chunkier. So I think, height-wise, you can mix all three. I think, realistically, you can mix all three as well. Proportionally, they're fine. So that's that one. Then you got your Polemarch. Polemarch only does successor era stuff, so it's kind of a non-starter. But same thing. Polemarch's a little less chunkier than the World of the Greeks Foundry, more in line with the Aventine. So yeah, I think these ones also. Once again, this one doesn't have a helmet, but he has a lot of hair. I think they mix very, very well. So all four of those manufacturers I think would mix very well together. That's Polemarch / Gripping Beast, World of the Greeks, Foundry, and Aventine. All those match well. So the ones that don't match well. These are both Footsore miniatures that we have in front here. I'm trying to line them up here. They don't match well together. One's their Mortal Gods range, and one is the late Roman range. The Mortal Gods range is slightly taller and is more anatomically correct. They don't have that Aventine style of chunkiness, which I like. That is the kind of miniature I really like. But no, they don't have that. So if you buy Footsore, just understand you need to be careful with the ranges. Now this miniature is a very beautifully sculpted miniature. It really is, and a lot of people like the more anatomically correct style. There's nothing wrong with that if that is your style and that's what you collect. But it is different. Like they are not as chunky. They're a little bit more skinny. Bad word, but they're definitely not as, we use the word chunky a lot in miniatures. So I would not mix the Mortal Gods range with Aventine and the normal Footsore range. And then on just the complete other end of the spectrum, you got Newline designs. They are older. They are not as chunky or as tall. They cannot be mixed in with any of the manufacturers I showed. So if you use something like Essex or Newline, they're going to have to be standalone. They're not going to work. They're not gonna work mixed in with some of the newer made stuff. So that's kind of the that's kind of what you're working with. I'll do one more lineup shot, so you guys can see what you're actually working with. But that's kind of what we're working with here. Like I said, I don't have a Crusader or more tripod issues. I don't have a Crusader or a A&A miniatures. So the A&A miniatures, Trearius has some, and I've asked him, and he says it's the same sculptor as Aventine, but it's his earlier work, so the detail's not as refined, and they're slightly shorter. So I'm actually probably going to order some A&As, as it's one of the few manufacturers that I don't own anything from. Just to see, and I'm going to order enough to put them in their own units in case I can't mix them. But that's what we're dealing with. So maybe when I get the A&A stuff in, I'll do a part 2 or a redo where we add that figure into the line so we can actually see there. But I like these kinds of videos because when I'm searching for miniatures, I'm always Googling size comparisons and whatnot. So I really hope this was helpful for you guys that are doing various ancient and medieval projects. Because there's not as many manufacturers around, like say for World War II and Napoleonics. There just isn't. Ancients is kind of like the stepchild of the historical miniature wargaming realm. So this is probably a decent 75% selection. Another one I could have thrown in there is from Old Glory, but theirs are more like 25 anyways. We know they're shorter, so no surprise there. And I own some of those guys too. I just don't have any loose. But like I said, guys, if you know of any other manufacturers for ancients that I'm leaving out, I know there's some one-offs there like Gorgon and Redoubt that have some smaller ancient lines. They're really small ancient lines, so I've chosen not to include them. These are companies that have robust ancient lines or primarily do ancient and dark age stuff. So like I said, guys, if there's anything I missed, please put it down below. And we'll see if we can get another video. But until next time, guys, keep on painting.